All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope you are all up and running, ready for this morning's webinar. Sige, before anything else, no, before we get ourselves all excited for this morning's webinar, I guess we should begin our day with a prayer to be followed by the university hymn. Webinar. Sige, before anything else, no, before we get ourselves all excited for this morning's webinar,
Many
So I guess that marks the beginning of our webinar for this morning. So mga ga, kumusta tang tanan? I hope you're all good today and that nakapamahaw na tang tanan para ready ta for this morning's webinar session. So before we get started, no, siguro let's hear from the students who are in our webinar this morning. Could you please type in the chat box from what college you are from para alam natin kung sino yung mga students natin for today. So meron bang from KAE, from CDAE, from CCJE, from engineering, from computer science? Sige, let's have a look. So we have KAE, CCJE, KAFAE, CTE, CHET, and CCE case, CBA. Okay, parang complete yata tayo, no? From all of the colleges this morning. So I'm very happy that you guys have decided to join us this morning. No, it's always better to start your day with a fixed plan kung ano yung gagawin natin. And hopefully you will be able to learn something, more than one thing rather, in our webinar this morning. All right, so before we move on though, could I please request everyone to please change yung mga names nila, no? Just make sure that your name is visible. So kung ano yung gusto mong itatawag namin sa inyo mamaya if ever, then please make sure to use that as your username for our webinar this morning. Okay, all right. Sige, marami pang nagtatype. Baka late sila. But anyway, welcome everybody to this morning's webinar session. So the past couple of weeks, you were with the guidance office, no, for component A of CAED. And for this week onwards, you will be with us, the ERIAO, no, or External Relations and International Affairs Office. And we will be dealing with your pre-employment needs, no, and we are going to be helping you guys out to become ready for the labor market. Okay, so with that said, I guess before we begin, we will be playing a quick game, no, just to warm us up and give us an idea of what we will be learning for this morning's webinar session. So, Sir Bench, if you could please go to menti.com and our code. Hold on, give us a moment. Sige, so while we fix our a little technical difficulties, no? Sige, let's hear from our students daw. Kinsa sa inyo ha ang ready na mahuman ang summer class kaya magbakasyon pa? If you are ready for your summer class to end kaya magbakasyon pag isa ka adlaw, please type 1 in the chat box. Naabay gusto na magbakasyon og isa ka adlaw. Ayun, si Fideles lang. Si Abby. Sige. Andrew, okay. Sige, hang in there guys, no? We still have a couple more weeks left of summer class. After ana, siguro makaginahawa mo mga isa or duha ka adlaw and balik na pud taog kayod para sa atong mga pangandoy for the future. Anyway, sige, on your screen right now, thank you so much, no? On your screen right now, you can see the code sa Menti, so please head on over to menti.com and then use the code 6003-8063. So ulit 6003-8063. Ayan. So you enter that and then join us kasi meron tayong pa-prize for whoever wins this game, no? This little warm-up game that we have. So sali kayo, our prize will be UM merch. So hopefully you can join us. Sige, dugangan pa nato para daghan ta. Para deserve ang mo dao. Kay nakig-away gid siya, nakiglaban gid siya, nakig-challenge gid siya sa uban. Sige, please enter menti.com, code 6003-8063. Malay ninyo ang inyong madaog karon nga merch kay magamit ninyo sa inyong 2-day vacation. Okay? Sige, maybe a couple more. Ayan, sige. Join us sa menti.com. Sayang nga to ang UM merch, no? Very exclusive yan. Of course, we have the UM logo on our UM merch. Pwede na kayo ninyo siya ma-claim. Karong hapon dayon, if ever free mo. Alright, sige. So currently, we have around 31 out of 57. So I guess that's a good enough number. And I guess we can close na, Sir Bench. We can start. There we go. So the point here is for you to answer fast to get more points. Your first question, how long is the ideal resume? Sige daw. Unsa daw ang ideal nga length sa inyong resume? 1 to 2, 4 to 5, or it depends on the job? So ito yung magiging topics natin for today. Ayan. 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is, let's have a look. It should be 1 to 2 pages. Okay, so keep that in mind. The ideal resume should be 1 to 2 pages. 28 of you got it correct. Sige, let's move on. Let's see kung sino yung leading sa ating leaderboard at the moment. We have, okay, see, Empress Key. So Empress, keep it up. Hopefully, ma-maintaining mo until the end. So question number 2, again, answer fast to get more points. The objective of the resume is for the applicant to get hired. Again, the objective of the resume is for the applicant to get hired. Is that true or is it false? Okay. Yes, para sa mga wala naka-join sa Menti, you can also type your answer in the chat box. So majority of you answered true, but in fact, it is actually false, as you will discover later on in our webinar. So let's see if Empress was able to maintain her score or his. I'm guessing her kasi Empress. Sige. Ayun, may nakauna na. Si Rada. Rada is in the lead with 1,908 points. Sige lang, bawi lang tayo, Empress. Question number 3. Answer fast to get more points. Again, if hindi nakasali sa Menti, you can answer sa chat box. In most job application, the best applicant gets the job. So is that true or false? Ulit, in most job applications, the best applicant gets the job. Is that true or false? Kung hindi nakasali sa Menti, you can chat or type your answer in the chat box in 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is false. Okay, so you're later on as well discover bakit hindi si best applicant yung makakakuha ng job. All right, so keep that in mind. Keep these questions in mind as we go along. Okay, so si Rada, was Rada able to maintain? Let's have a look if may nakauna ba. Ayun. So currently in our leaderboard is Justin. Nawala na si Empress. Empress, habol tayo. Okay. Sige. Next, question 4. We still have a chance to redeem ourselves, no? Which of the following should not be included in the resume? Ano yung hindi dapat isasali? So is it your contact number, is it your education, or is it your height and religion? San sa tatlo ang hindi dapat sinasali sa resume natin? Again, you can just type your answers in the chat box if hindi nakasali sa Menti. 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is height and religion. So that's all of you getting the answers correct. Good job. And the last, hindi pa pala, leaderboard. Sige, let's see if Justin is able to maintain. Oh no, he wasn't fast enough. Oh, okay. Ayun, sige, si Abby was able to overtake him by 9 points. Again, you have to answer as fast as you can. Sige, and for our last question this morning, ulit, pabilisan talaga ito siya so that you get higher points. Will you do the job is a general question on the applicant's what? Is it the skill, the motivation, or the adaptability? Again, will you do the job is a general question on the applicant's skills, motivation, or adaptability. Go ahead. 3, 2, 1. And let's see what, oops. May technical difficulties tayo. Ano nangyayari kay Menti? Napagod siya. Masyado kayong masyado kayong active. Hindi siya naka-keep up. Sige, let's have a look. Check natin ulit. Ayun. Nawala yung answer natin. Ayun. So, the correct answer is, it talks about your motivation. Will you do the job? Talks about your motivation. So, yung nasa leaderboard natin, that was, let's see if na-maintain ni Abby. And it seems like it. Ayun. Okay, so our winner for this morning is Abby. Sige, Abby, hi. Nasan ka? If you could turn on your mic and your cam just to say hello to everybody. Abby? Sorry? Okay. Hindi pa pala kayo nakaka-on ng mic. That's okay. Abby Alcoseba, is that you? Ikaw yun? If it is, hi. Ayun, si Abby. Hi, Abby. Good morning. So, you can just come here to the office at UM Bolton. Hanapin mo lang yung area or your external relations na office and you can claim your merch here anytime pag free ka. Okay? So, thank you so much, everybody, for participating in our mini game this morning. I hope you're all warmed up and you have an idea of what we will be talking about this morning. So keep in mind all those questions kanina during our game and hopefully ma-answer ninyo siya during our webinar. So let us delay no longer, no? And let us welcome our speaker for this morning. Of course, we have none other than our most competent and very bright and energetic, no? External Relations and International Affairs Vice President. Let's all give a warm round of applause to Sir Ray Castro. Hi, sir.
Hi, Kate. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I feel the opposite of the things that you mentioned about me. Sige, okay. Good morning to our students and welcome to our KAID 500 class. And it's nice to see that a lot of you have enrolled summer, no? We continue to pray that we will get through this, no? What we've been experiencing for the past 2 years or more. And it's good that you have decided to continue your studies, no? That's a sign of your agility and of your resiliency. All right. So let me share my screen. And then play from current slide. All right. This is your KAID 500 component B. And first, before I'm going to talk about the topic, no, assigned to me, I'm going to talk about KAID 500. Your KAID 500 course is a unique course, no, offered by the University of Mindanao. You cannot find this in other universities, in other higher education institutions. This is offered to senior graduating students. Most likely, most of you are in your final semester, in your final summer or what. And we offer this to students at that level in preparation for your job search time, no? Because after your semester, most of you probably will hunt for job, no? We look for job. And there's no specific course, no, in any of our curriculum in the university or in other higher education institutions for that matter, that teaches students, no, to bolster their chances of getting the job that they want. So that's unique about KAID 500. Another unique thing about KAID 500 is that this course is handled by different teachers, different instructors, different professors. For component A, this is handled by the Guidance and Testing Center. This is 30% of your grade. You have to understand that because some of you, after the summer, no, after the class, some of you probably have incomplete grade for KAID 500. So you have to find out which component you have missed a requirement or missed something that, you know, you are not complete in the course. All right. So for component A, it's handled by the Guidance and Testing Center. Component B and component C is handled by are handled by our office, no, by the External Relations Office, no. And there are seminars, there are coaching sessions, no, to comply with the number of hours and to comply also the content that is required in our syllabus for the course. All right. So for component A, these are the requirements, specific requirement. We got this from the Guidance and Testing Center. For component B, your attendance today accounts for 35 points of your 30%. You will be required to submit application letter and resume, sample application letter and resume, because that's what we are going to talk about, no, for this session today. And we'll find out if you are able to follow the instruction, no, the tips that we will be sharing to you. And then there will be coaching session by your KAID 500 facilitator. For component C, there will be another part 2, no? There will be part 2 of the session today. It's a continuation plus a mock interview. So we're going to talk about how are you going to face in a job interview, and we'll find out, no, in the next session, in my next meeting with you, if you were able to understand well, and if you can, like, perform well if you're in a job interview. All right, so I think that's going to be an exciting part of our Kain 500. No, you will be required to submit a career portfolio. It's all about you. No, the career portfolio contains all the documents, all the credentials that you have, something that speaks of your professional and educational qualification. All right, and then we'll have culmination program. No, we will end our session, our Kain 500 course, with a culmination program and another coaching session. So please take note of this. Compared to your other courses that, it's so highly cerebratonic, um, highly technical in nature, something that really honed you in your chosen field. But for Kain 500, it's so generic, no? What we are going to learn from here is that how are you going to prepare yourself for the job search? All right? Okay. So for this topic, for this session, the topic that I'm going to share to you is that first, how are you going to write a winning application letter and resume, or cover letter and resume? How are you going to ace in a job interview? And tips, no, to maintain your social media account, because there are social media etiquette that you need to observe. All right. Let's start with why write a cover letter. All right. So the importance of writing a cover letter is basic. No, one is that to show your communication skills, particularly your writing skills. No, regardless of course, of program, of discipline, of degree that you have acquired after your formal education in college, there will come a point in your career that you need to write. No, you have to write. No, whatever profession, whatever field you will go into, no, you will be required to write something. All right. So in that case, your application letter is the first assessment, is the first proof, no, is the first thing that potential employers will look for, whether you can really write or not. All right. So it's important that you follow instruction, you follow structure in writing an application letter, considering also that HR people, those who will be reading your application letter, are busy people. All right. Busy people, they don't have enough time, so much time to read, no, all the application letters. That's why it's important. How are you going to attract, no, caught the attention of the reader? The second one is, of course, to highlight the purpose of the letter. Why you are writing a letter? It's an application letter after all. All right. So the very intention of your letter is for you to apply for a specific position. Hindi pwede na ipag-guess mo, no, sa HR or sa the one who reads your letter kung anong position ang ina-applyan mo, 'di ba? Dapat in the cover letter or in the application letter, it must be specifically mentioned, no, that position that you are applying for. All right? Okay. So how are you going to write a letter, and what are the components? What are the different parts of the letter that should be complete, no, when you write an application letter? All right, first up is you have their heading, no, although in most cases this is optional. In our style of writing, this is optional. Why it's optional? Because especially we are using now, common practice nowadays, that we are using an A4 size paper, no. So for anong tawag dito, for space purposes, no, so we are maximizing space. That's why we skip heading, no. One thing that we cannot skip is the inside address, no. When you say inside address, of course, where the letter is going to, no. So okay, you have there the name of the person, no, the employer's name, title or the position of the person or of the addressee, the name of the company, and the address. All right. So four important elements, no, subparts in inside address. So employer's name, do not forget the name. What if you don't have any information, you are not sure whom to address the letter, what is the name of that person, what are you going to do? Now, KAID 500 students, the best thing that you are going to do is that you exert effort. You have to contact the company. You may pay a visit. No, you can go there, inquire from the HR, tell the HR that you are going to submit an application letter, and inquire from there. For sure, people there in the HR are nice people. No? They will entertain you. You ask from them, you are going to submit an application letter, where, whom, what name you are going to write there in your letter. What is the exact position? Because if you don't write anything, no, if you just write there the president or the HR manager or the department head which you are planning to apply, you know, companies have their protocols, no, they have practices, they have specific instruction to where you are going to address your letter. Because if you don't follow that procedure, that protocol, the tendency is that, well, baka mawala yung letter mo, hindi siya ma-entertain, it will be thrown at the waste bin, no, in case yung mga ganon na klase. So try to be safe, all right? And then do not forget the position. Importante din yan, because if you have the name and if you have the position, it gives an impression that at that stage you are exerting effort, no? You are good at investigating, no? You are good in doing your homework, no? Researching, all right? Researching to whom you're going to address the letter. And then you have their salutation. KAID 500 students, application letter is a formal type of written communication, all right? Since it is a formal type, then you have to be very formal. You have to be corporately sounding, no, in your letter, all right? So do not write there, dear Miss Santos, no? Why? Because you only use dear if you know the person, or if you have association with the person, if you have met the person, all right? At least you know each other. You have bumped the person for like once or twice, that's fine. But if it's your first time to send a letter, then you have to be very formal, because again, you are giving an impression that you accord some respect, no, some respect to the position of the person, all right? So instead, you write there Miss Santos, you go straight Miss Santos, right? Then you have their introductory paragraph. Well, you notice that in most letter there's a greetings, no, all right? Well, it's fine, but again, it's not so formal when you say greetings, no, all right? So you go straight to the point. The first paragraph says here that you state how did you get to know the information about the job, and mention your interest for the position, all right? So there are two important information that you are going to place there in the first sentence. One is that where did you get to know about the position, and then second is that your interest for the position, okay? So for example, in response to the May 18 advertisement in Mindanao Times, I have enclosed my resume for the marketing assistant position, right? The second paragraph. Now, overall, tingnan natin ng letter, no? Ang letter, meron lang siya 3 paragraphs. Well, that's the usual practice, the common practice, no, for application letter. Kaya nga careful tayo kung ano ang laman ng each paragraph, no? Sa second paragraph, that's where you are going to describe your qualifications, very brief. Most important, something that will immediately catch the attention of the reader, something that will at least catch the interest, no? Something that will at least match the requirement of the position, the expectation of the potential employer, no? So point out any related experience you have, maybe from your OJT or professional work. You sell your skills and knowledge relevant to the position. Now, in the second paragraph, kung sa first paragraph natay duha ka important na information, no? One is the source of the job. The second one is your interest. In the second paragraph, 2 things also that you may highlight there. One is that something about your experience, something about your exposure that has relevant, no, that has, you know, importance to the expectation of the position. Okay? Kung meron ka ng work in the past or meron ka internship, meron ka OJT, which relevant to the position, then you highlight that. No? Second, what are the attributes? What personality, what characteristics that you possess, which you think are also necessary for the position? All right. If the position requires someone who has a skill in networking, a skill in team playing, no, working with other people, working with teams, then you highlight that. No, if you are that kind of person, then do not write there something opposite to that regard. You know what I mean? So you have to study first, students. No, you have to study first what are the requirements, what attributes, what personality, what characteristics, no, are expected for the position. All right. And then you close the third paragraph. You close. Well, imagine this is just one letter, one page letter. Then you cannot write no slew of information there in your application letter. So, but when you close your letter, then you say something that at least will open the door for interview. Because remember, the purpose of the application letter and the resume, no, you have that in Menti, is not for you to get the job. Do not expect that because you have written a nice letter and resume, you will be accepted. You will be hired for the position. The purpose of the letter and of the resume is for you to get an interview. So pag-isipan ninyo yan, no, dapat, you have to spend so much time in writing your letter. How are you going to write your letter? All right. So you close by thanking the reader and requesting for an interview. Well, thank you for reading my letter, and I'd like to share some other qualifications and interesting things about me that may perform, no, that can help me perform the job effectively and efficiently. So I can be rich in my number. So things like that. All right. Then you close sincerely, no, or respectfully yours, no. Wag very truly yours. Pareho ng dear, kung Tagalogin mo ang dear, bakit ayaw ko ang dear, no? Kasi Tagalogin mo ang dear, minamahal kong Miss Santos, 'di ba? Hindi na siya formal, no? Tapos sasabihin mo, very truly yours. Tagalogin mo ang very truly yours. Ako iyong buong buo, di ba? I mean, it's not formal. And the problem with us is that we copy something. We copy the common practice, which we don't check whether, it's the right thing to do or not. All right? So you have to be, again, corporate sounding in your closing. So that's why you can write there sincerely or respectfully, and then your name, and then your signature. That's it, no? Very clean, very substantial, very direct to the point, very formal, very corporatese, all right? Oh, so magkaroon kayo ng impression ng employer na ito, okay, itong aplikante na to kasi malinis pagkasulat, no? Hindi lang malinis in face value, also in substance, all right? What's important there is that the substance is there, all right? So here's another example from our KN 500 student in the past, no? So, ayan, the name of the person, Mr. Dexter Baloran, Human Resource Staff, SPMC, Claveria Street, Davao City, Mr. Baloran, all right? You have there 3 paragraphs. Maybe the paragraphs are long, no? But that is the content, the expected content, substance of each paragraph is there, all right? Okay. Next up is the resume. So it says here that the resume is your personal brochure to market yourself, and it should give your potential employer a quick view of what you can do for them. So just like any other brochure that you can find, like for example, if you're planning to buy a new gadget, a laptop, or smartphone. If you remember when you were in high school, when you're looking for schools, you were shopping for programs, for degrees to take in college, diba, you grab as many brochures as you can. So the same thing, no, with resume. That's how resume is being looked up. It looks like it's a brochure, all right? But the only different thing there is that there are styles of writing in resume that that should not be also the same or similar with, when you lay out the brochure. All right. Okay. So how are you going to write the resume? So again, remember that the purpose of the resume is for you to get the interview, because job application is a process. No, it's a process. So the first thing is that you submit these two documents, and then when you're okay, if they find you qualified for the first screening, no, then you may receive a call for interview. And then after the interview, if there are follow-ups, no, then they will inform you about that. And then you may take the exam, and then that's it. The purpose of the resume is for you to get an interview. The purpose of the interview is for you to get the job. That's why even in a beauty contest, you notice that the final screening stage, the final screening phase is the interview. All right. That's where judges determine who will win in the competition based on the performance in the interview. All right. So let's going to talk more on that later. Let's go back to resume. So how are you going to write your resume? So for new graduates, just like you can list your accomplishments in school. All right. Because let's put this in perspective that you are new graduates. No, in most cases, you're going to apply for entry level jobs. You're not going to apply for middle management position, for higher positions yet, diba? Okay, will you? So of course not, no? So you're going to apply for entry level positions. Therefore, what is the reckoning basis for the credentials of the applicants is, of course, your formal schooling. When you were in school, what have you done when you were in school? If you're, for example, 40 years old, 50 years old, no, and you have work experience and you're applying for higher positions, of course, let's forget about your school years, no? Then what will be the reckoning period? The past 10 years of your career. So if you're like 42 years old, then from 32 years old to 42 years old, no? Ano yung achievements mo for the past 10 years, all right? So that's how important it is, students, to really plan your career, plan your life. Hindi pwede na others are saying na dili lang ko magplano kay if I plan then I fail. I mean, it's going to be very difficult. No, how will I accept it? No, how will I recover? How will I move on or move forward? All right. So hindi, no, dapat magplano ka talaga. One school of thought is telling you that you really have to plan so that you can keep track of your performance, no, of your growth. Because if you don't have plan at all, you cannot track where are you now. All right. So that's how important. Pag-isipan ninyo, most of you are now in your early 20s, no? So kung may plano kayo, by age 30, ano kayo? By age 40, ano kayo? By age 50, ano kayo? No? So magplano talaga kayo. So again, let's go back to this. Now, in your case like now, you can list your accomplishments in school. Do not worry about not having work-related accomplishments. What you can do is that you can pick out those school accomplishments. That's your responsibility, dependability, cooperative spirit, and the like. So, when you're in a university, that's why you call it formal education, because you are honed, you are being sharpened, you are trained, no? In many aspects, your attitude, your behavior, your skills, your competence, and the like. All right. So that's why it's very important what you have done for those years in the university. No, it's not enough that you just attend classes and the like. All right. There must be other thing that you did, accomplishing your task on time, participating in co-curricular and extracurricular activities, doing other stuff that are assigned to you by your professors, and participating in the community extension programs would also develop your personal social responsibility. No? Okay. Now, for writing your resume, you may follow this format. No? These are important information that have to the interest. No? to the employer. So one is of course your name, your address, complete address. No, that's very important because companies, no HR, they do background investigation. So especially if they really want to, top companies, they do that. No, so they are going to investigate. They're going to ask your neighborhood, your local officials, your village officials, whether you are really resident in that area. Your contact number and your email address are also very important because these are means of communicating you efficiently. So if there's a need for urgent follow-up and the like, then employers will do that through your contact number and your email address. And then you cannot expect someone, in this era who don't have any contact number or email address at all, especially you're in an online class, diba? In your LMS, you are required to have your email address before you can enroll and you can participate in the academic activities. And then you have your summary statement. The summary statement is a brief statement about you. Like, you can take that from the second paragraph of your application letter. So what are your qualifications and what are your career goals? Your work or school experience, including your OJT and your apprenticeship. That's also important because if you have exposure in the industry, it's not only that you apply the things, the learnings, nakikita mo doon kung ano yung actual practice talaga, but it's also about your attitude. It's also about developing as some level of maturity in yourself, that number one, you know how to follow orders, you know how to follow directions, you follow company rules and regulations like wearing IDs, coming to office on time, following instructions, and submitting the task given to you on time. All right. So those important things should be also learned when you are into OJT. All right. Okay. And then your job responsibilities. Importante ito because na-develop ba yung skill mo, yung sense of independence mo, yung sense of responsibility mo, na when you are given instruction, when you're given the task and the instruction, then can you perform it? Can you do it by yourself without so close supervision? All right. And then your accomplishments. Your accomplishments actually will speak about your initiative, your direction in life, your ambition, all right? Your perspective, your overall perspective. Are you driven by your career goals? Are you driven by, is it clear to you where are you heading for your career and for your future, Or baka wala ka talaga plano sa buhay. Alam mo yon, wangig-wangig ka lang, patin-patin ka lang uglata, something like that, all right? So makikita mo yan sa accomplishments. It's good that when you were in college, you have done a lot, you have accomplished a lot. Not only that you are a pure student, a plain and simple student, but at least you have exposed yourself in some other stuff, And then your education. Okay, so there is nothing there in your resume that talks about your height, your weight, and religion, your parents' name, your siblings' name. Why those information are not included in your resume? That's why CAID 500 students, when you prepare your documents for your application, do not buy the biodata sheet that's available in the bookstore, or in the store, where you are going to fill in only the information that's asked there, because it's like buying a clothes that is not fitting to you. I mean, it does not perfectly fit to your style, to your structure, among others. So that's why you have your resume, because you tailored fit the writing of your resume based on the expectations of the company and based on what you have possessed. All right? Okay. So overall, when you write your resume, you think of these questions, You think of this because these are important information. If I'm the HR, these are the important information that I'm looking for from the applicant. One is all about the competence, all about the qualifications. So like you have, what can you do for me? And do you have the skills I'm looking for? So especially for highly technical courses like, engineering, architecture, hospitality, computer science, no, and accounting for some aspect, these are highly specialized program, no. It requires specific knowledge on specific skills, no. Okay, so I'd like to know if you have that, if you possess that, no, if you are knowledgeable about this aspect, no. Is your experience relevant to my needs, and do you have the right education and credentials? All right, what kind of person are you? Asking this question is also about your attitude, about your behavior, no, about your personality, uh, and that's it, no. And then where can I contact you? So this important information should not be missed when you're writing your resume. Okay. All right. Now, there are common skills that you need to possess regardless of your program. No, these are generic skills. These are expected that you have learned during your years of schooling in the university. No, so if you have like a semester left or some years or months to finish, no, your degree, then you have to develop these skills, because these are generic skills, whether what specific program you have, what kind of program you have, these are expected of you, no. All right, one is in the list is communication skills, no. When you say communication skills, it's not all about speaking in English. But it's all about, when you say communication skills, it's your ability to express yourself. It's your ability to understand the information that's given to you, and your ability also to speak about that information, about the topic that is being thrown at you. No, can you say something about that? No, what are your perspective, and whether your perspective, whether your response to that idea, to that information, is in consonant, no, is in nexus with that thing, with that information. You know what I mean? Minsan manonotice ninyo, no, may mga tao kayong kausap, medyo wangig ka istorya, no, medyo musimang kadali, 'di ba? You're talking about this, you're heading to the north, that person is heading to the east. All right, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean by communication skills. That's why it's also important that in this era of technology, we spend so much time browsing social media, facing the computer. I do not know if you're going to compute your 24 hours a day, and how much of that time that you spend with your friends or with other people talking, enhancing your social skills, and the time that you spend with your gadget, with your computer, with your laptop, with your phone, or playing an online games, how much time you spend on that, no? I'm that person who advocate, no, who still believes that spending time with other people, communicating with them, listening to them, processing the information that you receive from them is more valuable, is more important, something that can make you more mature, more responsible, rather than spending so much time on gadget. And okay. Other skills that you need to take note of is problem solving. No, you're into difficult situation, challenging situation, and how are you going to solve that? No, okay. Responsibility. I already mentioned that a while ago. That once you are given the task, are you responsible enough? No, are you mature enough to complete? No, and perform the task on your own without so much supervision. Eagerness to learn. All right, part kasi ng responsibility, alam ninyo students, that if you're given an instruction, or if you're given some task, no, you don't need to get all the details, no. I mean, you have to do your research. All right, if there are things that are not clear to you, then you have to do your research, study it, no. no? Creative thinking, people skills, I already mentioned that, no? So ang problema ngayon sa generation natin is that, kaya nga ako, I'm also for going back to normal, no? Even sa schools, I'm for face-to-face classes because iba talaga ang face-to-face classes. You can see people around, you can talk to your classmates, no? You can chit-chat with them, all right? Because according to some, I heard, yung mga elementary students daw, no? Ang may problema na sila ngayon of their social skills index, no? Mababa ang mga social skills index ng tao, no? So even if we are communicating through digital technology, but it's really different. It's really different. Okay. So you have to take note of all these skills and develop this, no? Learn how to develop this over time. And how are you going to develop this, no? Then of course your exposure in school. While you are in school, make the most of your stay, of your study while you are still in the university. Because the world of work is very competitive, no? Very competitive. It's getting smaller and smaller day by day. Your classmates today are your competitors in the future when you look for job, when you're going to look for the best career. They will be your competitors also. So therefore, there must be something about you that put you the edge, no, that put you ahead, no, over the other. Social activities, no, socialization, expanding your network. In fact, my suggestion, Kain 500 students, is that you can start checking in your social media account. If you have like 500 friends or 1,000 friends, how many of those friends of yours that really you know each other very well? And how many of those friends, 1,000 friends of yours in your social media account, are of quality friends, no? Quality in terms of, one, their success in life, they're very highly professional, because these people might help you in the future, no, refer you to a good job, to a particular job. All right? Hindi pwede na sa 1,000 na friends mo, 997 doon, kapareho mo ng level or below pa, or hindi mo nga nakita, no, na add mo lang 'yon, 'di ba? Hindi pwede ganon. Dapat meron ka din a significant number of your friends are of quality friends, no? Quality friends because they have achieved so much in life, no? When you listen to them, you can learn from them. That's very important, no? You can learn from them. They can teach you many things, no? They can help you in many ways, all right? Your hobbies, no? Your hobbies can also teach you something, like socialization, speed and agility. If you're into sports, all right, then playing sports can really help you decide quickly. All right, when you're playing basketball, when you're playing volleyball, badminton, whatever sports is that, it can help you make decisions quickly if you're into sports. Okay, all right. Volunteer work, house chores, community work. No. So please make it sure that these 6 areas, no, 6 activities that I have mentioned, you have participated on this, because it will really help you acquire the skills, the generic skills that you need in the future, no, for your career. Okay, all right. Now, important points to remember when applying during the pandemic, because you have experienced a pandemic, and it's a test about your resiliency, how resilient you are. Now, it's good that you have pursued your education. I mentioned that. I said that at the start of my talk, no, na maganda, nag-aral kayo, kasi nga indicator 'yan of your resiliency. Hindi kayo nagpapa-apekto, no? Marunong kayo maghanap ng paraan para hindi din naman kayo hindi din naman kayo zero, no? Walang nangyari sa inyo. But during this time, what is important is that at least you have developed telecommunication skills and productivity tools, no? Like for example, the learning session that we are in right now are done through online, no, learning management system, online system. everything is almost all learning sessions are done in a remote virtual platform. So therefore, marami kayo dapat alam, no, when it comes to apps and tools about productivity and about telecommunication, about storing your data. You have the Google Workspace. There are many things that you can do there in the workspace, in the Google Workspace. So you should have explored on that, no? And once you are very knowledgeable about that, regardless of your course, it can really at least, no, put you an edge over the other. You can showcase the ability to adapt to rapid changes. What does it mean? It means that, well, right after the pandemic, what happened to you? What have you done, diba? So it's not enough that you just stayed at home and doing nothing and watching and binging, no? Watching all your series all the time, what you will get out from it. I mean, it's fine, but do not spend the entire day and night of you watching your favorite series, no? I mean, it cannot give you anything else, no? All right? So you have there, I have listed some of the nice tools like GoToMeeting, Slack, LinkedIn, no? In fact, I encourage students to create a LinkedIn account because LinkedIn account is a professional account, no? This is the best social media for professionals, no? For young professionals, no? Okay. So how long should a resume be? In 2 pages only. Remember that you are new to the world of work, no? You are novice in that regard, and therefore you should know how to filter relevant, important information that are of the interest of the employer. What should I include in my personal data? In general, you avoid facts that may be used to discriminate against you. Should I put my photo in my resume? No. My answer there is no. Because picture, unless you apply for, you apply as a model, then that's fine, no? But if you're applying for other profession, I mean, your picture is not so important unless it's specifically mentioned, no, or explicitly required by the company that when you submit your resume, you have to include your picture. Okay? All right. Sige. So again, I'd like to emphasize that the purpose of the application letter and of the resume is for you to get an interview. The purpose of the interview is for you to get the job, no? So the interview is the deciding factor. Later on, after my talk, you can raise questions, you can ask questions. It's nice that you practice, no, asking question, because personally, I believe in the idea that you can really test the intelligence, how witty the person is, not by responding to questions, but by asking question, no? So you can test, one way of testing the intelligence of the person is how he or she asks questions. Okay? So mamaya tingnan natin, no? Because I have not shared to you a lot. You might have some experience, no, that you want to clarify, then you can raise those after my talk. Okay? So let's proceed to the most dreaded parts. Most exciting, most dreaded part of your job application process, which is the interview. Okay? So it says here, I do not know if you have read the book of Sancho, The Art of War. For Sancho, The Art of War, it's all about, of course, war, no? Winning the war. For winning the war, preparation is winning half the battle. No? If you have prepared for that, then you win half the battle. It depends now when you're there in the war, how are you going to do it? But once you have prepared for it, then the other half is about your performance. Now, how candidates behave during the interview is often seen as an indicator of how they will perform. That is why interview is the deciding factor. Because if I am the interviewer, if I am the HR, I see in person, I see how that person behaves and responds to questions, no, will give me an idea how that person will perform the job. No, the most important thing there is confidence. No, confidence. And if you're confident, therefore, you will be spontaneous. And spontaneity speaks about, or spontaneity in the interview is akin to or similar to competence, no? Because you are exuding confidence, therefore it looks like you know well, no, the requirement of the position. So the better prepared you are, the less nervous you will feel and the more confident you will appear. There is no room for mistake in an interview. There is no room there for mistake. So you must not look nervous at all, no. You have to look confident, because confidence will give an impression that you are ready for the job. Pero wag lang din overconfident, no? Wag lang din arrogance. Iba na din yung confidence sa arrogance, no? Okay, magkaiba 'yon. Hambugiro sa confident, no? Hindi 'yon, pareho. The more you know about the purpose of the interview and the organization, the better you respond to the question. So, ito lang, no, students, pag-aralan ninyo ang company at ang posisyon na ina-applyan ninyo. Ano ba ang trabaho ng posisyon? Ano ang requirements sa posisyon? Anong klaseng company ito, no? Because the interview will not only test about your skills and your competence. The interview will also test about your overall perspective and your overall understanding of the requirement of the position and of the expectation of the company. Okay? Klaro yon, ha? Klaro yon. So, bakit nasa interview ka, hindi lang natin tinitest whether you are competent, whether you are knowledgeable, but tinitest din natin whether you have a good perspective about the requirement of our company. No? Pareho lang gud yan sa romantic relationship, di ba? If you're into romantic relationship, both parties, no, are expected to be aware of the pros and cons, the strengths and the weaknesses of the other party. You know what I mean? So dapat alam mo kung anong kulang sa kanya, anong meron siya, alam mo kung bakit gusto mo siya, no? Oh, 'di ba? Attracted ka at first, pero hindi naman pwede na you go into romantic relationship agad-agad na kayo na, no? Meron na talaga kayong ano, 'di ba? Something. Hindi pwede gano'n, no? Dapat muna kayo, punta muna kayo sa Rojas Night Market, magkain muna kayo ng barbecue doon, mag-usap-usap muna kayo. Pag naabutan kayo ng gabi, naulanan mo, 'di ba? Nangabasa mo. So at least ma-feel ninyo ang usag-usa kung unsay bation if you're into that kind of situation, no? How you manage situations like that, no, 'di ba? Okay? All right. So what's the hiring managers are looking for during job interview? One is your ability to perform the job, no? So if there are specific skills that are expected from you, like for example, you need to manipulate a machine and equipment, among others, can you do that? All right. The other one is about the soft skills, no? Your fitness, your culture, your personality, your motivation and enthusiasm. So importante yung hard skills and then your soft skills. The hard skills require hands, no? Manipulation of hands. So kung kailangan mo mag-manipulate ng something, that's hard skills. Soft skills, on the other hand, something that cannot be seen, of course. It's innate in you. It's all about your personality. The other one is the knowledge of the company. So I have been telling you about the importance of you researching about the company, studying about the company, because you want to be part of the company. So HR or interviewers will really ensure that you have a good background of the company. You have done your research, you have done your homework studying about the company, all right? And then your communication skills. And I already mentioned about communication skills. It's your ability to express yourself, no? It's your ability to process the information that is thrown at you, all right? Okay. So in general, there are three major things that will be asked during the interview. One is, can you do the job? So questions about your skills, your talents, your competencies, and your abilities. The second one is about your interest, your motivation, and your right values to work. No, will you do the job? So, for example, you will be asked questions like, are you willing to be assigned somewhere else? Are you willing to work overtime? In the Philippines, the nature of work we have there in the Philippines is um anong tawag nito, no, multi-responsibility. All right, there are other tasks that will be assigned to you, so are you willing to do that? Oh. If your education, for example, even if you're biology graduate, sometimes you will be asked to teach other subjects. That's a typical example, no? That's the situation in the Philippines. Now in other countries, if you want to be if you want to work in other countries, then um will it be easy for you to adapt? That's the third question. No? Will you fit in the company and its culture? So can you easily adapt to the culture that we have, your positive work attitude, among others? Okay? All right. So think of that, no? So why I'm sharing this to you, because you can prepare. No, I already mentioned that preparation is winning half the battle. So you can like take a look at yourself. It's all about yourself. You initially assess, no? You need to have a personal assessment of yourself, and then you link whatever you possess to the expectations and requirements of the company, no? So how do you structure your answer? One is that you have to be direct to the point, no? Why is it that you have difficulty responding to questions? Is sometimes it's not about substance, but it's all about how are you going to structure? What should be my first answers, first sentence, second sentence, and third sentence? No, don't never mind whether it's if it's a conversational communication, it's an oral communication. You don't mind at all about the correct sentence structure and the like. But the point there is that the idea that you're trying to express now. So one is that you have to be direct to the point. So if you're asked a question, then you respond to that immediately. No, if the question is dichotomized in nature, what's dichotomous is whether the question is answerable by yes or no, then you respond either yes or no. All right. Or if the question asks you some situation, then you respond immediately to the situation. All right. So be direct to the point. Don't go around the bush because you might lose the idea, no? The idea along the way. And then you provide example. Hindi yan siya pwede na pang Miss World or pang Miss Universe na Q&A, no? Hindi ganon. Hindi pwede ang generic answer. Dapat meron ka talaga specific, no? For example, you will be asked questions like, what is your weakness? Hindi mo pwede sabihin na ang weakness ko ay impatient. I'm an impatient person. Or I'm a forgetful person. All right? Or I'm a person that's easily discouraged. And that's it. No? You have to cite an example. Okay? When you say you're an impatient person, then what can make you impatient? What common situation that can make you impatient? All right. And what else? All right. Okay. Then you relate your answer to the job or the company or your attributes. No. So for example, let's go back to the question about what is your weakness? And did you say it's your impatient? Then you provide an example. Then how you turn that weakness into something positive. As an interviewer, I'm not after of your weakness. I cannot remember that, no? I mean, but what's more important to me is that how you turn that weakness into something positive, all right? How you become mature person, how you become yourself a mature person by managing your weaknesses, okay? So that's how you're going to structure your answer, all right? Sige, let's take a look at some of the common interview questions, no, job interview questions. One is that tell me something about yourself. So that's very basic, no? The moment that you face the interviewer, the first question that will be asked is this, no? I mean, please introduce yourself. Tell us something that, we need to know about you. And tell me something about yourself. So in that case, do not be so personal or long-winded. What's important is that what qualifies you and what makes you the perfect candidate for the job or the best person for the job. Then you can highlight your strengths, your accomplishments, and experiences relevant to the position. Any achievements and any successes you have, speak about yourself, no? Your perspective in life, no? Your resiliency, that you're a kind of person that you are driven for career goals, no? You really have ambition, you really have career ambition. So when you were in school, you worked so hard to reach that point of your life. You know what I mean? So dili lang na puro milet-milet, no? Kanang istorya-istorya lang na, no? So dapat na gyud kay example ana. All right? Dapat na kay example. Okay? Second question, what do you know about our company? So I've been telling you about studying the company, studying the position. So it says here that try to reveal that you know not only facts about the company, but that you have taken an analytical view of the company. In addition to citing information about their company, try to note their key competitors and any trends in the industry, especially if you're applying for private organization. If you're applying for government agency, then try to take note the purpose, the mission, no? The services that this government agency is providing for the people. And what do you possess which you think are aligned to the mission of the organization? Okay? All right. And again, as I said, dili na pwedeng nga milit-milit, no? Mingon ka lang na well, the mission of the company is in nexus, is similar to my career philosophy in life, but I'd like to cite an example. When I was a student, when I was still in the university, I do this and I do that. All right? So dapat ingunaan na. What is your greatest weakness? So again, I already mentioned this. No? The interviewer asked this to see if you're honest and self-aware. Do not say that you don't have any weakness at all, because no one is perfect. If you would say that you don't have any weakness, you're that kind of person who is lying, you know, because no one is perfect. You're the kind of person who cannot identify red flag. All right, who cannot see a mistake in yourself, who cannot appreciate that committing mistake will help you become a better person by learning from that mistake. This is the most important thing there. All right, okay. So it says here, oh, ayan, maganda pagkasabi. The best way to answer is to think of a weakness you've already taken steps to remedy, giving concrete examples of what you're doing to improve. All right. So again, the most important thing there is that how you turn that weakness into something else, or how you overcome that weakness, how you make that weakness into positive. No? Okay. What did you do during the pandemic? That's also very important, because baka nagtapol-tapol ka lang, naubos mo lahat ng mga series mo, no, o nanood ka, no, nag-Netflix binge watch ka, di ba? So hindi naman pwede gano'n, no? Potential employers are interested in what put you in better position, right? Maybe through volunteering or developing new skills in an online course. So ikaw yung tao na, alam mo yon, someone who can be relied on during difficult situation, because you know how to manage difficult situations, you know how to breeze through, no, challenging situations like pandemic. All right, okay. Do you have any question? Ito lang, no, kain 500 students, you might be asking why you were not hired after your interview. Probably one of the reasons is that you did not ask any question. Just like, for example, attending the seminar today. We'll see after my talk if no one will ask questions, because I have experienced that, no, many times in Kain 500. After my talk, sasabihin ni Kate, any question? Walang magtanong. Diba? So, hindi talaga, it's not your nature. It's not the nature of our young people today to ask questions. I do not know, no? I mean, it's a test of critical thinking skills, all right? It's the first test. So when someone asks question, that person really is showing that that person has a good critical thinking skills. Kasi pinag-iisipan niya yung information na binibigay sa kanya. Unless, you know, you're busy with other stuff there, you just turn on your monitor, no, for attendance purposes, and that's it, no. But you know, you can really test the good critical thinking skills of the person the way he or she asks questions. All right. So Pareho din yan sa job application. You might be wondering why you were not hired because you did not ask question. Remember that job interview is a form of communication. And kung ako ang HR, ako ang nag-i-interview, I will really remember that person who asked question. It's not only about the question, but the kind of question that you raise during the interview, during our conversation. No? Okay? Kakapoy kay magsigma unya walay mutana, no, di ba? It's akin like you're talking to yourself, no? You're doing TikTok and that's it. Buti pa TikTok, meron pa mag-reply sa iyo, meron pa mag-share, no, di ba? Okay? Can you or have worked remotely? I think that's one important thing right now. And I think for your generation, it's not difficult, no? Some of you may have experience working in an online job. Yeah, that's a typical example of a remote work, no? So you can stay at home or you can be assigned somewhere else and that you communicate and you work with your laptop and with your gadget. No? Okay. So these are some of the common interview mistakes. There is a survey done by PMAP, no, years back, when they were asked questions like, what are the common interview mistakes made by applicants? So ito, no? And I'm sharing this to you so that you will avoid doing this when you're in a job interview. One is answering cell phone or texting. Topping the list is this one. So when you're in a job interview, you have to turn your phone into silent mode or switch off your phone. Okay? Tell those who are supposed to make a call or make a text, whatever, to do that after your interview. Dressing inappropriately. So, you know, dressing well is part of the preparation. And really in job application, the statements, no, the old adage that says that first impression lasts is really true. No? Okay. And in fact, that's one of the topics that we are going to discuss for component C. What color, what attire you have to wear during job interview, because the kind of attire and the color that you are going to wear speaks about your personality, speaks about many things about you, your character, no, and the like. On another side, wearing comfortable clothes, no, attire can also bolster your confidence. No, it can enhance your confidence when you're in a job interview. Appearing disinterested, no, lutay pasta ng lutay, no, lutang pasta ng lutang, diba? So, you know, HR, they are trained for that, so they can really sense whether you are not interested or what, no, or whether you're thinking of other stuff or what. All right. Appearing arrogant, this one is also opposite of confidence, no. Yung ano kasi confidence, yeah, you speak a lot of things, you speak, you share your knowledge, but you are not boasting so much of yourself. You speak with respect, no, with sense of politeness. All right. So yan yung ano, confidence. Yung arrogant minus the politeness, minus the kindness in your words. All right? Okay. Appearing unprepared. Yan. Chewing gum. Siguro mag-chew gum ka kay ano man, na-tense ka, and that's how you manage your emotion, no? So you are showing really that you are not confident, that you are feeling you know, not relaxed, di ba? Crocodiles and dinosaurs are fighting in your stomach that time. That's why you are so tense. So that's why you are chewing gum. Okay? Not providing specific answers. You feel like you're in a beauty contest, no? The difference there is that in the beauty contest, you're only given like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. That's why answers there are too generic, no? There's no specific situation or examples. But in a job interview, importante yung sinasabi mo, paano mo siya masuportaan, 'di ba? Dili kay milit-milit ka lang, nagmemorya ka lang, no, 'di ba? And not asking good questions, no? Pag sabi, any question? No sir, I don't have question. No ma'am, I don't have question. Okay, that ends our interview. O tapos na, 'di ba? So again, do not let the interview ends without you asking any question. Okay? Let's proceed to the, yeah, Ismael, you're raising your hand. Sige, later na, no? Hapit naman matapos. So, okay, kung may question kayo. Ito, social media etiquette. Why you need to have this? Because, they will do background investigation and easy for HR to investigate background of their applicants, no? By looking at social media, no? I-stalk lang ng social media. Even when you're going to apply for visa, the same thing, no? Ano ba mga pinaglalagay mo sa iyong social media, ganyan-ganyan, no, 'di ba? So, importante that practice ka na din na magiging professional sa iyong social media account. No, wag ka na maglagay ng kahit ano-ano lang, no, na mga. That's why you call it social media, because it's a platform for you to speak valuable things, no? Social issues, expand your network of friends. Yung iba naka-private ang account. Bakit nasa social media ka pa kung naka-private ang account mo? Which means you are hiding something, 'di ba? Okay. Ako HR, pagtingin ko na private ang account, hindi open for public viewing, baka may something ang bata na to, may pinagtataguan, merong, alam mo yon, 'di ba? So, it's giving an impression, it's giving a not good impression if your account is not public, all right? Okay. First is that writing negative posts. Yung iba naglinog, paunahan magsulti dito, naglinog o nagbaha, 'di ba? I mean, what's the sense unless you are saying something valuable about that event, 'di ba? Okay? Sugo kay ka sa Smart, or last week ang tubig, no, DCWD, si Kayaw-Yaw. I mean, they have made an announcement na merong water interruption, 'di ba? For better service, okay? Oh, I'm not saying na hindi ka mag-share ng sentiments mo, but you can do that in a polite manner, okay? Second is that writing and grammatical post or use of derogatory language. Remember that you have time, no? You have slew of time, you have enough time to review what you are going to post there in social media, no? If you're not sure about it, then ask someone who is more mature than you are and find out if, this is nice and this is correct. Especially kung college graduate ka na, 'di ba? You have earned degree in a university, therefore you are well trained. You are trained to write well, to communicate well, to say things in a proper manner, in a proper way. Then before you do that, then you should have checked that. No? And third, making your posts all about you. Again, it's a social media. So if you're posting everything about you, your TikTok dance, your OOTD, your travels, and many others about you, it's giving an impression that you are the kind of person that you want the spotlight to be hit at you always. All right? So kung i-hire ka na mo sa among company, gusto nimo it's all about you, it's all about you. No? Okay? So it's a social media. If you have read a book or if you have watched a series, then why don't you write your review of that series? And people who will comment those valuable things, probably that's how you can start assessing quality friends in your social media, no? Dili lang kay ka ng mga chismis ng mga way makabuluhan, no? 'Di ba? Okay. So I think that's all. And yeah, if you have question, I'll stop sharing and then I'll give back the virtual floor to Kate.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So, sige, now is the time to test, no? If you were really listening to our speaker, no, this morning. So, as Sir Ray mentioned earlier, no, the way that we find out if a person is really intelligent is if they have questions after a discussion. So, let us now open the floor to anybody who has any questions with regards to any of the things that Sir Ray discussed this morning. Sige, let's have a look if meron bang I think somebody raised their hand earlier. We have Justin Abby Rose Manog. Okay,
Yes po.
let's go for Justin first.
Hi, good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Question lang po is, if ever po ba na meron kang experience before but it's not related to the work that you're going to apply for now, can you still use it sa resume mo, or can you still use those experiences that you had sa previous na work na yon kahit di sila related po?
Well, two things there. Again, I'll go back to my hard skills and soft skills. Yeah. So probably in terms of hard skills, there is no similarity. There is no direct link, no, with your previous job, previous exposure to the present job. But probably in terms of soft skills, so you are going to emphasize that, no, how that exposure, how that experience help you improve your soft skills. Like for example, the sense of responsibility, the ability to work with other people, given task and deliver that on time, what is expected of you, when is that expected to be finished, things like that. You know what I mean? So the thing there is that how are you going to establish the similarity, the connection of that job to the previous job? No, so if may not be no relation at all in the hard skills, but probably in the soft skills there are. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. We have another question, sir. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm guessing this is Miss Analasan. You're raising your hand.
Yes po.
Is that really your name? What's
Yes,
your
sir.
name? How do you pronounce?
Shiwei May Analasan po.
What's the etymology of your name, if you won't mind?
That's Chinese name po for Wei Mei, Great River of
Okay.
China.
So you're Chinese. You're like you have
Um,
presentation.
like fourth or like layo na mi, sir.
Okay. Sige, your question?
But with regards to my question, sir, you mentioned that social media will be like an open book for all, and then I just wanted to ask because um, I was, I do private myself, or I do private my account. However, I just show those important things like my name in relation to ano gani sir kato ganing um dili lang kayo nimo i-public imuhang self good kay daghan biag judgmental, so some people, or I myself would, rather chose to do private account than public, as what you said. Just
Yeah.
my opinion.
Again, it's given that whoever, not only me, no, everybody else, like an HR, an interviewer,
Mhm.
the the fastest and the best way to check the background of the person is through the social media. And the
Mhm.
fact that you have account there in the social media, we expect many people, no, I mean majority of people to have account in the social media, because that's the easiest way to expand our network. Whether if you don't have account in Facebook, probably in LinkedIn. I already mentioned that, no, that LinkedIn is more professional in nature. So if you don't like to be in the Facebook, then maybe in Twitter, it's more professional, diba? I mean, it caters to different market segment. There are group of people for Twitter, for Instagram, for Facebook, for LinkedIn. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you have account in Facebook, it will give me an idea that that person are into this segment. You know what I mean? And why
Mhm.
is it that your account is private? So there must be something. Well, you have to be ready whenever this question will be raised during job interview. Okay? Because it's a social media, you're supposed to open to all this. No? Be subjected for whatever comments, because people will judge you based on what you have posted there in your social media. You know what I mean? So
Yes, I agree.
if you don't like to be judged by other people in that regard, then do not post anything. Just like
Mm.
during the election, di ba? Masyadong heated yung no, dito sa kabila, ganyan-ganyan, yung mga political bickering, no, that has created polarization among Filipinos and the like. So if you don't like to participate and if you don't like to be in grudge with your friends and with other people, then do not post anything about politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about merong term yan eh, but similar to that is you have to reflect. You do some reflection first on what you are going to post and think whether, how would people react to this post of yours? Okay? You have to be circumspect, no? That's the term.
Mm. So somewhat like a bystander lang, sir.
Hindi naman bystander, no? Ang punto ko doon is that you will be judged based on what you are going to post. So if you want people to, if you don't like that people will hate you because of this and because of that, if you don't like that your friends in your social media would react to this and to that, no, then just keep that, opinion and feeling to yourself alone. Do not make that public. All right? You can have the choice. So it's about your choices. It's about your decision. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You have to be circumspect in your posts. That's a term there.
Sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. And I think we have another question. Lady Lasan. Go
Hi,
ahead.
ma'am, sir. Good morning po. Regarding po those social media concern po, kasi po yung account ko din po naka-private po. The reason why naka-private po siya, sir, it's because po meron po kasi tayong yung hindi natin alam, sir, ginagawan tayo ng daming account po. Yes, sir. Kaya po I myself prefer to be private kasi yun po yung nangyari, sir. And then hindi po connected yung question ko dun, sir. Sorry. Regarding po sa resume po and curriculum vitae, sir, most of the time po kasi na-encounter ko, sir, sa mga company po, they usually ask curriculum vitae po. Ano po difference ng curriculum vitae at ng resume po, sir?
Resume are prepared by novice applicants like you, no? I mean,
Yes po.
you don't have so much experience yet in the world of work and in your field of discipline. So you use resume. Curriculum vitae are usually prepared by those who have achieved a lot in their career, no? So that's why another different thing there is that resume of short pages, so like 2 pages only, no more than that. Curriculum vitae, you can have many, many pages. Diba?
Okay.
So, ang hinihingi sa inyo, resume. Ang hinihingi sa mga matataas na ang mga profession, mga grabe na ang na-achieve, curriculum vitae, CV.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Meron pa isa kanina nag-raise.
Yeah, meron yung isa si Ju. Sino yun?
Hi, ma'am, sir. Good
Ayun.
morning. Hi, sir. Good morning. My question, sir, is regarding you mentioned earlier, sir, that it's better to ask a question during the interview, sir. So, is that okay to ask regardless of your salary, sir, or is that a road question for the interviewer, sir?
Well, one is that it's your privilege to know how much the position will be offered to an applicant, no? But do not ask that during job interview. You should have learned that prior to the interview. And kung ako ang HR, especially if you're going to apply in government, no? Sa government kasi required sila na i-public yan, no? Na ito yung salary grade ng position, di ba? Sa private, hindi lahat ng private nagpa-practice niyan. But actually, it's your privilege, no? It's by law that you have to know how much is the salary of the position, no? For the position. So, dapat inalam mo na bago ka dumating sa interview. So, don't ask that during the interview because it's giving again the impression that you're not doing your homework when it comes to the requirements and expectations of the job, no? Second is that I might ask you about salary. So what are you going to answer during the interview? Like, for example, questions like, Have you checked how much is the salary for the position? Would that be okay for you? Oh, so wa katubag. Yung kag pila di ang salary di ay ani sir or ma'am, oh, di ba? Saka ka pa mag-isip, di ba? So I suggest that you ask the salary outside the interview and not during the interview.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So, sir, I have also second question, sir. Regardless on the topic of resume, for what if you said you mentioned also on your discussion, sir, that the company do a background research for the applicants. What if the applicant put false information? For example, they mentioned in the resume that they were graduate in the Pacific University. For example, she or he mentioned that she was a graduate in the University of Mindanao, but during the background research of the company, that was not she's not was graduate. What usually happen to the applicants, sir?
Of course, diretso na yan. The documents will be thrown at the waste bin because it's a question of integrity, di ba?
Dili sila makasuhan ng kaso, sir.
Ay dili naman, wala siya nga makasuhan. Kisal kasuhan ang aplikante or ang company.
Ang
Na may kaso. Wa may kaso na.
man siya false information, sir. Something like that.
Dili man kay wala may connection, wala pa man tay legal binding agreement, no, wala pa may something na nagbind sa atoa. So palang automatic your documents will be thrown at the waste bin because of problem about misrepresentation and integrity.
Pero for example, sir, during the interview, sir, gi-ask ka nila, sir, na kung are you still studying, sir, tapos ga-mention mo na wala, pero deep inside nag-study yapon ka, sir, kasi murag dili sila kadawat og mga working students, sir. Pero after that, sir, kay nakasulod ka sa company, sir, tapos dira, sir, masulod dira ako answer, like possible na makasuhan, sir, or automatic kick ang sir?
Simple lang naman yon, Jomardel, no? Why don't you be honest at the start of your engagement, no, initial engagement with the company? You have to be honest. You are expected to be honest. Tell everything and let the company judge you. It's not about whether you lack this and you lack that, but it's about how are you going to present yourself, no? You know what I mean? So if the company at the start wants applicants to have completed their degree and you're not, and you think that you want to make a try, then prove that when you're in an interview. But at least at the start, you have clarified everything, no? You have declared everything about you, no? There is no misrepresentation there because you're not the only applicant. Okay, you're not the only applicant. The law of demand and supply would tell you that there are slew of supply, no, diba? There are many applicants, so you're not the most important person there. I mean, I'm sorry for the statement, but you're not the most important person there. So there are other applicants who may have better qualifications and better experience than you are. But if you think, I'd like to cite an example. When after my stint, no, in the university, I have not yet finished my degree, no. Hindi pa ako nag-graduate. I applied October 11. My graduation was October 16. I applied for teaching position, and in the college, in the university, that the minimum requirement is for the teacher to have master's degree, especially in my field that it's not difficult for you to earn masters. But I applied the time that I was still a student, no? So I was told by the HR that it's like, it's similar to saying that how dare you apply a teaching post that you have not yet finished your degree, no? So that's it. But I have to prove that I'm qualified, there are things that you may take a look into because these are left for me to get my degree, something like that, no? And when the HR continued to browse my documents, skim my documents, she found out that there are many achievements that speak about my qualifications, no? And then she told me, oh, you're like this, oh, you're like that. Okay. Anyway, there are only like how many days left before your graduation? Then you go to my secretary, you get the form, and then you're hired. You know what I mean? So, but at least at the start, you declared. You have to be transparent, no? Okay, rather than misrepresent yourself for something that is not you. That's not good. Jumardiel?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, sige. We have one question here in the chat box po, sir, from Daisy Jane. She's asking, necessary pa ba maglagay ng references sa resume?
Yeah, I think I missed this, no? But yes, that's correct. You put their reference persons because the importance of reference persons is that they are going to validate, no, the information, the veracity, no, the truthfulness of the things that you have placed there in the resume. All right. So there must be somebody that will attest to the veracity, no, to the truthfulness. So if I'm the HR, then I'll try to call this person. People who are of competence, people who are of based on their position are reliable, no? So it's important also to select someone who are reliable, who have achieved something in their life. That's why I told you that you have to start, no, filtering, selecting quality friends, no, quality friends, people who have achieved success in their career and in their life, because of course they are more reliable, they are more believable, no? Okay, yeah. So references, you can include that in your resume.
Okay, so we hope we were able to answer your question, Daisy. Do we have any other questions before we move forward? Or okay na ba tayong lahat? Wala na? Going once, twice, 3 times? Okay, sige. Wala na tayong questions for this morning. All right, sige. So thank you so much, Sir Ray, for sharing your time with us. No, I'm sure the students were able to learn a whole lot, a lot of new things talaga for this session. And hopefully you guys will continue to be with us, especially in our next meeting. So just before we end our session for this morning, Sir Benj, maybe we can share our screen for some announcements. So next week, our componency seminar will be on July 5. That's on a Tuesday. So still the time slot will be the same. You can either choose the morning session or the afternoon session, and you don't have to attend both. Pili lang kayo ng isa. Okay. And then after that, we will be having our mock interviews. I think Sir Ray mentioned earlier on in his talk, no, that we will be having a mock interview. So for the week of July 11 to 15, it won't be the whole week. We will just choose a particular day within that week. But basically, dyan mangyayari yung mock interview natin, which will be done via Zoom or Google Meet. So ano siya, parang siyang online siya na interview. Okay, but more details on that one will be announced next week. And then another date to take note of will be our culmination day, which will be on July 19. That's a week after yung mock interview week natin. And for the culmination day, actually, this will only be held one time. It will only be in the afternoon of July 19. So that's from around 1:30 in the afternoon until 4:30 or 5 in the afternoon. So if you have to make, especially if you're working, then please set na your vacation leave ba yan or sick leave ba yan, kung anong kailangan yung gawin. Basta sa July 19, once lang din siya. Wala tayong morning or afternoon session. Okay? And then next, Sir Bench, please. For our component B and C, we will be having 3 coaches. So The first one will be Ma'am Isa. So for those of you under the codes 11097 and 11048, your coach for component B and C will be Ma'am Isa. So yan yung itsura ni Ma'am Isa. Next one for codes, 11783 and 11049, your coach will be Sir Benji. Sir Benj, i-on mo na lang yung cam mo, Sir Benj. Hello ka naman dyan. Sa mga hindi nakakakilala kay Sir Benji. Sir Benj, are you there? Naman to siya ganyan, ha? Anyway, sige, yun si Sir Benj. And then lastly for myself, ayan, 11784 and 11050. So the three of us will be facilitating your classes for component B and C. And then please wait na lang for the announcement of when you will be having your class meeting. So kung sino yung coach ninyo for component B and C, they will be the ones to announce kung kailan yung class meeting ninyo. Okay, and then after this, hopefully you guys were able to read the announcements in yung LMS na you should have taken your screenshots during the webinar and that you are expected to write a reflection after this webinar. So the instructions should already be on your LMS. Okay, so also please don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and especially TikTok because we will be having an activity related to TikTok as well, which further announcements will be done next week na. Okay, so do you have any questions so far or everything was sabotable? Nababatay lang yung mga... Yes, lady.
Hello ma'am, pwede pakibalik sa atong first bitaw nga props sa kuan ma'am, component P ma'am.
Si Ma'am Isa.
Yes ma'am.
Ayan. So yan yung mga codes niya, 11097 and 11048. Ma'am Isa Matadera.
That's it. Thank you ma'am, okay na na.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, lady, you're raising your hand.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning po.
Hmm.
This session po ba, ma'am, makikita kaya namin to sa YouTube po, ma'am?
Yes, we are being streamed on YouTube right now. So if ever you want to go look back on our discussion for this morning, you can access it on YouTube. Just follow our official channel on YouTube.
Thank you,
the
ma'am.
University of
Thank you.
Mindanao. Any other questions or sabot-abal na lahat?
Actually, Kate, maalala
Yes,
ko
sir.
meron tayong ginawang video about this, no? Benji, makalkal mo kaya yon? Baka pwede natin i-share yun sa...
Yes sir, naka-playlist siya sa ano natin sir, sa YouTube channel.
Kunin na lang
Shelter.
siguro natin ang link nun because ang topic nun is all about writing letter and resume. Kunin na lang natin ang link tapos ilagay ninyo sa inyong LMS so that if the students want to review about these topics, then they can watch that video, no?
Sige po, sir. So, yun,
sir.
as what Sir said, we will just be posting the link na lang para direct access. We'll be posting it on your LMS for your perusal afterwards. Okay? Any other questions? Okay na ta? Sige, since we're all good for this morning, no? Thank you so much again, everybody, for coming in and joining us this morning. No, again, si Abby Alcoseba, no, Abigail Alcoseba, you can just come here to the office and claim your merch, no? And then for next week, siguro abang-abang na lang tayo kung meron pa tayong other games. Baka kayo na naman yung makaka-avail ng ating UM merch. So with that said, thank you so much, everybody. We hope that you learned a lot today and we hope to see you again next week, July 5, same time for Component C seminar. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Po.